How much do you know about K-food? How much hanshik have you eaten?
We invite you into the world of Korean food, of course, including the history and culture of it.
We'll introduce trendy foods and famous restaurants on Dish of the Day with
Chef Ryan Phillips.
It is a Tuesday, and that means that Chef Ryan is in the studio with a dish that is filling the studio with a certain aroma today. How are we doing, Ryan? Did you have a good weekend? What was the weather like? A bit chillier than it has been.
It was chilly, but no, I had a great weekend, man. Thanks.
What did you get up to? Anything fun?
Yeah, we did a pepper planting class.
Oh!
You know, it's kind of the last... If you really want to grow peppers in Korea, you got to start planting the seeds usually in February or early March. And so we try to do that every year, offer a class. We had about 20 folks come out. It was a lot of fun. Got to make some new friends and meet some old friends and had a really good time.
Do they get to take home peppers to like grow at home?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can do it like even if you don't have an outdoor space, like on your veranda or something like that.
Sure. Whatever their environment is, we try to help them have the tips and tricks that'll help them be able to do that and maybe on a veranda or if they're going to take it outside. Because it is really tricky. We made all the mistakes over the years and learned a lot over the past 15 years or so growing chilies. So.
Okay, so I selfishly want to pick your brain. I think I told you, we bought a tangerine tree last year.
Yes, sir.
And then the advice was bring it in when you're going to get the first frost,
right?
And then leave it in until spring. But is it now good to put back outside?
No, you take your time.
Oh, really?
Wait a little while longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Citrus does not like to go below zero, and we still got pretty good chance of going below zero at the 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. kind of time frame.
So once we're out of that territory, it's all right to put it outside.
Yeah, and to be on the safe side because there's wind chill as well.
Yeah,
be on the safe side. I'd let it go. Give yourself a little buffer of 3 or 4 degrees.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm a bit worried. I'm not seeing any inklings that any tangerines are growing. It just looks like a green tree.
Did you guys cut it back in the fall or
Not
just bring
at
it
all.
in? Okay.
No.
It's a good idea, I think, to cut them back because they're kind of going into hibernation mode. And so if you give them less to worry about, then they'll spring back better in the fall. You do that with just about anything. Peppers too. If you try to winter peppers, you got to cut them way back.
Oh dear. All right. So
no, it'll probably be okay. Don't fret.
I heard many people though say when you buy it from the Yangjae Gochujang, well, that's where we got it, Yangjae Flower Market. They got loads of tangerines, and then what they always find is the next year there's maybe a tenth of that. Actually.
Well, they're probably pumping them full of hormones to get them to fruit a lot so they can sell them.
All right, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Today's hashtag fortune, saying fingers crossed. Is there anything you do to bring luck and fortune to you or the farm or anything? Do you have a ritual or routine?
It's funny you ask.
Do you have something
this is a
weird?
bit much. This is a bit much. But we have a volunteer, or a family of volunteers.
Yeah.
And the matriarch of this family, a lovely friend of mine, has some family traditions that go way back thousands of years.
Oh, wow.
To, I believe it's Central or North Central Europe.
Yeah.
And it's similar to the Celtic kind of traditions.
Okay.
But she's a good witch.
Wow. I had it's too much information as well. I had one of my first girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful girl. Then suddenly she said, my family is a family of white witches. And I was like, what are you talking about? The modern family. Right? And I don't know, we didn't stay together long enough for me to learn too much, but my mind was blown. So they have certain things they do, pagan kind of things, maybe.
Well, first finding this out, she had volunteered on the farm a number of times, and then one day she messaged me. She said, "Ryan, do you mind if I burn and bury some things on the farm?" And I was like, "Should I be worried?
Yes.
What's going on?" And then she kind of explained. I was like, "Oh, sure, no problem."
Wow.
And the 2 rows where she had done that, they grew incredibly well that year.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on, but
that's amazing.
But yeah, we had the 3 or 4 meter tall sunflowers and the beets that were getting onto the verge of cantaloupe size.
Wow.
Yeah, and It was just amazing. So then the next year I asked her, hey, would you mind doing that for the whole farm?
Yeah. Did she?
And we joined together and we burned some stuff when we drank some mead.
Wow.
And and we kind of said, put some intentions on. I don't know. But it was cool.
I like being open-minded. I think there's still so much that we don't know, right? And traditions from thousands of years ago, of course, there must be lots of nonsense things, but there must be things that kind of worked and then were repeated, and it was like, maybe we don't know the workings.
Well, and this one was really nature-oriented. And I'm trying to grow stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and in an organic fashion. So it seemed like it fit pretty well.
You need Mother Nature on your side, after all, yes. Today, I think it's in keeping with this because I think maybe in some European places and maybe across the world, today's main ingredient has certain connotations I've heard,
true.
right?
Oh, nice segue, buddy.
Yeah, we did it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today and why? Is it in season?
Yes, it's totally in season. Okay. We're talking about ssuk today, or mugwort. And we have talked about this before because it's one of the very first things that you can harvest outside in this time of year. But I don't think we've ever talked about this particular soup. And I gotta say, I made the best version I've ever made. I was tasting it, and it really brought out this lovely kind of citrusy, sagey, piney. Mugwort has been used traditionally in medicine, in spiritual rituals of things of the past, and it's a beautiful flavor if done right. And all the times that I've made different dishes and we've filmed TV shows with ARIRANG with this ingredient, I think I really nailed it on this one. And I hope you like it today, and I hope we can portray the flavor to everybody watching today.
Yes, so the main ingredient, mugwort or ssuk, which, you may be unfamiliar with because I don't think many non-Asian families would have used this in modern times so much. And then ssuk-guk, right? So mugwort soup, I guess, literally.
Right, it sounds terrible.
Yeah. It doesn't like the name does not sound appetizing. Mugwort.
Mugwort, yeah. Yeah.
Is it? Because looking online, right, when I was talking about superstitions, I just wanted to double check. And by apparently people in Europe, Asia, Native American tribes, historically it's been revered and a powerful herb. It can help with enhancing psychic abilities, quote unquote. But is it a modern herb that is used in like Western kitchens, mugwort?
No, I don't believe so. Yeah, but it is probably growing in your backyard if you're in the northern hemisphere in a similar climate zone as us here.
Really?
It's probably looks a lot like this.
Okay.
This already sprouted really well because it was inside one of our greenhouses on the farm.
You deliberately planted it? Or?
No. Don't, because our farm is organic and this is so native to Korea.
Wow.
You actually have to fight to not have it everywhere.
Okay.
Because in this stage, it's not very problematic for the farm.
Okay.
But when it bolts, when it grows, later in the year, it gets really tall, really woody, and so it's not something you necessarily want to have around. But and it grows from rhizomes or like roots spreading underground. So it's very kind of similar to mint in that way.
It kind of smells a bit minty as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's very hard to get rid of.
Wow.
Of course, a lot of farmers around the world use herbicides, and then it won't be in your farm area. But since we're organic, there's tons of it everywhere. And I've had a lot of little old ladies come by the farm this time of year, and they'll ask. Hopefully, they ask.
Yes.
If they don't, if I don't mind if they come up on the farm and start snagging some.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please.
Yeah.
I will go right ahead.
Because it's not like a main ingredient for you usually.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't need that much, and it's so plentiful, and I hate for it to go to waste.
Wow.
And they're also kind of keeping it in check a little bit because, like I said, it grows. We make witches' brooms out of this in Halloween for kids.
Oh, when it grows big.
Really tall.
Oh, wow.
And then you can take one of them, break it off at the ground, and then take all the little stems on it, make that part the broom, and then the other part's the handle.
Oh, nice.
And just tie it up at the end, and you got a little witch's broom for Halloween fun.
Fantastic. And like even our Asian listeners now, I can see Lilith saying, I don't think I've ever tried it. She's from Hong Kong. Siska from Indonesia easiest thing. I never eat real mugwort, to be honest. And I'm curious, though, because, you know, in a duck cake you might have mugwort, and I think it's kind of not sure how to say the taste. It's not good, but it's not bad either for Ssuk-guk.
That's one of the first ways I ever had it, Ssuk-guk, and I was not impressed.
No, the duck, it looks really like a deep green as well,
right,
so again it can put people off. And when I've eaten it, yeah, I don't know, I prefer other types of duck, to be honest.
Right. And I think today when you taste this, I think you'll get the parts that you're supposed to get out of it. The way, maybe because this was grown so slowly through the winter in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
And maybe because of the layers that I built in here, adding it at different times, you know. I mean, just smell that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It smells so rich, and there are definitely different layers that you can't get from just the mugwort itself at all.
The time and temperature that it's in the soup.
Yeah.
I think I really nailed it this time, and it's just like steeping tea. You know, if you go too far, it gets bitter.
Yeah.
If you don't go enough, you have water.
Yeah. You got it just right. And so here's a photo. We've got a couple of photos to show you. This is what you might see around this time of year. Then, so is it only in season in the spring? Is it?
You can find it in the fall, but mainly it's a spring thing. And
it almost looks like coriander in this photo.
It does, but it's not. Don't worry, we're not forcing that on you today. This is actually a dodari ssuk-guk. That white piece in the bottom and in the top there, you can kind of see underneath the suk is a spotted flounder.
Oh,
and this is a great way to have it. I went to a lovely restaurant on the south side of Seoul that had dodari ssuk-guk years ago and was very impressed.
Nice, because we were talking before the show started. I was asking, can you order just ssuk-guk, so this mugwort soup? And I don't think there will be restaurants, because it's seasonal, that have it all year round, just as ssuk-guk. But with the flounder, yeah, just in the springtime or maybe autumn.
Yeah, it's got to just be seasonal, because I don't think you'd want to freeze this herb. I've never seen anybody try to use it that way.
Yeah.
Of course, you could dry it and make it into powder, and then you could make the songpyeong or the rice cakes any time of year, which people do.
You see that all year round, right? That's not so seasonal. Right. Here's another iteration before we get to a song break. So that's a kind of what John.
Right. And have you ever tried one of these?
Is that just souk? Just mugwort?
Yeah.
That's just a lot of mugwort, isn't it?
Just enough starch and flour to hold it together. It looks like. Very little egg, too. I've never tried one of these. Now I'm really interested in testing this out.
It would pack a punch in terms of flavor,
have to, right? I mean, okay, I'll go ahead and just take a...
Let me try a little bit. How does that taste by itself, then? Because it's furry as well, which would maybe put you off. And
it's silver on the bottom and green on the top. You get nothing for the first couple of seconds, but then you get the kind of piney.
Definitely pine nuts. Tastes a little bit like you are chewing on an air freshener from a car. Like, it's kind of almost cardboardy. Like, wow. Okay.
I'm not really on board. Just eating a leaf, I'm not so on board. But see, that's the thing about cooking, some things you really have to unlock their flavor.
Yeah.
And trust me, I think when you try this, you might be pleasantly surprised.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I'd like the John so much. I mean, we have the buchujang, which is kind of like that, the garlic chives, where it's just loads of garlic chives and a little bit of batter. Right. And that is actually really nice. It gets crispy. Maybe if it's crispy, it'll be nice as well. Who knows? Tell us your experiences with mugwort as well in your neck of the woods, pun intended, and we'll be back after this one eating it in the studio. Doenjang's What a Love. It's part 2, Dish of the Day with Chef Ryan in the studio, talking today about ssuk-guk or mugwort soup. Lots of messages coming in, some photos as well that we may be able to show a little bit later. Noor says, I've never seen mugwort ever in my life like that. And does it smell like grass? No, not really. I mean, it's not that aromatic, although I did say earlier, because you've criticised me for saying, don't just say whoa, whoa with the smell. And Ryan was very detailed. It kind of smells a little bit minty.
Yeah, like citrusy, piney.
Yeah, but quite subtle at the same time. And like we said, when we chewed on it, there's not much flavour to begin with, and then it is very subtle a little bit later. Right. And then here's Lilith's photo, actually, and you say, I just wanted to share, I tried making the trending dish from last week. I couldn't get pomdong, so I used a Chinese leaf cabbage. It was still very fresh and delicious. I'm definitely going to make it from time to time. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like pomdong as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's very green.
Nice.
Good stuff indeedy. I made some, and it wasn't pomdong, it was another like mini Napa cabbage, like a really small one, and I made kodjari, like the fresh kimchi from that.
Right,
and that tasted amazing as well.
Like just eat it right away?
Yeah,
okay,
straight away.
Yeah,
it was so good, and it's the only way my daughter will have it as well. She kind of takes after me. And I think if you did that with pomdong as well, the same kind of kodjari, it would be
on the rice,
great, right?
fried egg, absolutely. Healthy and delicious.
Good stuff. And then Ssukguk says, yeah, it does look like coriander leaves, and I'm not sure if we have mugwort in Indonesia. Like you said, it might be growing here and there.
I really think you'll find it if you look for it. These have the silver bottom of the leaves and then a darker green on top. And that's just in this part of the life cycle. As they continue growing in the summer, they're not so much. But yeah, it's one of the very first things to pop out. So
we've got it on the camera here, nice and close up.
Find.
So see if you can find it. I wouldn't advise you to then put it in your mouth because you're maybe not a professional forager. But yeah, you will find this just growing on the side of the road and things like that, right?
Right. It has been used for thousands of years around the world. Roman soldiers used to put it in their sandals.
Oh,
you can see how it's soft and furry, so it would give a cushion. Okay. But it's also maybe to relieve the pain.
Yeah, like the medicinal uses and whatnot.
Reduce the chances of infection.
Okay,
if you're marching hundreds of miles.
Matta says from Trinidad and Tobago, I just did some research and apparently mugwort is used as a folk medicine for those who are having menstrual pains. It helps relieve that.
That's right. It is a vitamin supplement. Dried and encapsulated mugwort is often used for women.
I didn't know that. But apparently not to be used by pregnant women. Yeah, I guess some precautions need to be done there. And you saying this now makes me think it kind of tastes like that. I wonder if it could be used to make a pesto. It has a pesto-ness about it, I feel. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah, there is a bit of that reminds me now that it tastes a little bit like pesto as well.
I really think it needs the heat to release the flavor.
When you're making pestos, there's no heat with that. You just grind it.
Okay. Well, you'll grind it and then you put it on maybe a fillet of salmon or something and roast it, and that might be enough heat to release those flavors. But
okay, well, let's get to it now.
I can't wait for you to try this. Okay. I really think.
And look, the colours change as well in the soup, right? It gets a deeper green there.
Absolutely.
And you got a bit of pops of colour with red chili peppers, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's just that's actually a Mexican chili. But it's just a dried Mexican chili, not spicy at all, don't worry.
Good.
There is a little choyang gochu, though, in the broth. So you will get a nice warming kind of tickle in the back.
Thank you. There's my portion. Let me give it a sniff again. Oh, yeah, so how do you describe this? It's definitely not aromatic in the way that maybe coriander is, but there's some deepness to the...
Isn't there a lovely, floral thing almost like a subtle floral. Like a potpourri kind of deal going on, but that's not you don't want to eat potpourri.
No, you don't. So it's not that overpowering. It's a bit more subtle than that.
No, but it is kind of like a field of flowers. So do you get that too?
Yeah, you're right. And not when your nose is pressed up to a flower, but you're just in a field of them.
Right, it's so different from just the fresh herb. There's really something else that came out in it.
Okay, give it a try, right? I'm going to try and get... So this, I can see in the broth there's the soybeans, right? Wow. So this is a soybean paste base.
Yes, essentially it is doenjang-guk, but with the suk, it becomes ssuk-guk.
Oh, wow. It's so different to doenjang, though, with the sug in there. Like, it kind of smooths out all that funkiness from fermented soybean that you might still get in a doenjang. But this kind of mellows that out. And then you're eating the suk as well, of course, right? It's not just there for flavouring, so...
It brightens up the doenjang so much, doesn't it?
Wow.
Is that a flavor punch?
Yeah, if you chew on like a big amount.
I haven't tried that yet.
Every time you bite into it, it releases a little bit more. And you're right, it's really bright in your mouth, right? And it gives you that floweriness, but in a subtle, nice way as well.
Much better than just the raw.
Of course, right? And with the flavors as well, because the texture, even though it's been cooked, is not like smooth. It's still a bit planty. That's fibrous. A terrible fibrous. That's the word I'm looking for. Which you will get with a lot of Korean namuls as well, if you eat a lot of those spring greens and like mountain herbs and stuff. But yeah, it certainly works with the doenjang, and that spiciness to this one. Oh, I like that with the 청양고추 and the chili pepper there.
There's a bit of heat. And it'll get the back of your throat if you're not careful. But
of course, we're not eating this like as a soup starter in the West. We're having it as part of our main course with the rice and the other banchans and side dishes. So it's not just this. But that's delicious. I love it.
I must say that I'm really enjoying what it did to the broth. Or to the doenjang more than just chewing on the herb itself.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you'd been, making it through a long, cold winter, you're going to want all the fiber, any kind of fresh anything that you can get in the spring. And that's why, folks would go out and get this and put it in a stew. Man.
Yeah, and you're eating it, right? But you're right. If you had to choose, you'd probably just have the broth. I'd say, right? And maybe a bit of the leaves.
Use it as kind of like, you've heard of like bouquet garni?
No.
When you take herbs and tie them up and put them into a stock.
Okay, and then take them out.
And then you could take them out later,
yeah.
right?
Like if you did that because you're not so keen on the fibrousness and it kind of looks a bit weedy, so to speak. Yeah. But in Korea, we're not adverse to that because we're so used to it with all our namuls and whatnot. And some of the namuls you have as a side dish, not in a soup, they are really fibrous, but we're used to that texture. I think, some foreign listeners in maybe Western parts of the world might think, I don't want to chew on that. That's too much fiber. You just take it out, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the main benefit of having it is the flavor of the broth. But
absolutely.
But man,
I'm really.
Does this impress you a little bit? Because it really impressed me.
The doenjang is very different, right? It's not so subtle or anything. Yeah, it has a completely different profile. You still got the beaniness and like the savory aspect to it, but the brightness in there.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about how to make this from start to finish in part 3, but essentially, it's just a doenjang. You gonna sneeze?
I nearly sneezed.
It's just just a doenjang-guk, and then in the final stage of making the doenjang-guk, you just start throwing in the fresh soup.
Yeah,
and
wow,
and I tasted it a minute after, and then at 2 minutes out, and then turned off the heat when I thought that it was, where I wanted it, and it really imparted this lovely floral element to the doenjang-guk.
It is really good,
slightly piney. There's something that's kind of like a Mexican sage in there too, like a citrusy, sagey thing, and almost a mint kind of thing. But the best way I can describe it without misleading you guys is that it's just very incredibly floral.
Yeah, in a really good way. Yeah, I'm not a fan of coriander. Like that's way too far down that line. This is not there at all. No, thank you for recognizing I dressed as Mugwort today. That's right. My hoodie is designed to fit in with it. And lots of good comments as well. I'm glad because, I'm guessing if my British friends saw this initially, if this was like 10, 15 years ago, they might tease and say, what is that, a bowl of weeds, like in muddy water for the visuals. But you guys can understand what this is going to taste like. We've got Matt saying, I think we have that growing wild. And Noor says, the weather right now where I am, it's raining and this dish is really cooling me. I'm drooling. I want to drink the soup so bad. I'm fasting here and watching a live mukbang. I'm torturing myself.
Oh no!
With a bowl of rice and this steaming hot, that'd be delicious. And you'd feel you're being really good to your body as well, right?
I'm even getting on board on just chewing on the mugwort too, because
I mean it wasn't bad,
Yeah, it's not so fibrous that you can't bite through it.
No.
And it does give a little crunch. It gives a nice textural contrast,
Yeah, really good. We'll tell you how to make it. We'll show you another few examples if we have time of how mugwort is used here in Korea. After this one from Yunmachi with I Feel Special. We're back for part 3, dish of the day, with Chef Ryan in the studio talking about ssuk-guk or mugwort soup. And yeah, mugwort, it's something that I was trying to scratch my head thinking about. Where is that in Korean culture? It's in the foundation tale, isn't it? The Dangun myth.
Yeah,
the bear has to eat garlic and mugwort.
That's right.
To become a human.
Yeah.
And that's what it does, right? Yeah. So it's long.
Only garlic and mugwort.
Yeah, that's the key.
Can't go out and get any rabbits, but the tiger does.
Yeah, and doesn't turn into a human.
And does, but the bear
sticks with
completed the task.
Yeah, so I think even then it had a positive, like, it was a very symbolic food, but it is also said to be something that, you know, if you're just living on, it's maybe not the nicest thing.
The sustenance thing, yeah.
Some questions. Ben says, how could you incorporate mugwort with K barbecue dishes? Because we often talk about, you know, all the sums and all the leaves, including the perilla leaf and whatnot that you'll find at K barbecues, but you never see mugwort there, right?
Well, as a side dish, I could see that mugwort John at a table like that. Or actually this.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of K-barbecue, they're going to bring out a small doenjang for you.
Yeah.
And this time of year, I bet you some of them are doing ssuk-guk instead of just the regular doenjang.
Yeah, not thinking about it like in a sam like that or on the grill together. That I don't think would work so well.
I'm feeling like you really have to have the time and temperature to unlock the better parts of this herb.
Yeah.
Just having it fresh just doesn't quite work for me, right? Would you agree? I think
it's not going to add anything if you put it into your like lettuce wrap.
Right.
It's not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen some namu really work, and some people I think have long tried these things, and now it's become a bit more mainstream. The one that caught my attention last year was kosari. You put that on the grill with like pork.
Oh.
And then it absorbs the pork fat. It is also very fibrous when you put it in a wrap, but it is delicious. It works really well.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, maybe if you just kind of lightly battered these and deep fried them quickly.
Yeah.
Then you could have that, maybe build that into your sam or just have it as another side dish.
It'd
be similar to the jun, just like individual pieces rather than a great big pancake.
Yeah, I think, give it a try. Let us know, Ben. Noor says, I bet it tastes better with that little chili pepper garnish. And that's what made it look attractive. We were just talking about it because I chewed on those little Mexican chilies and they were really good. A bit fruity, a bit of punch in there.
That's a mirasol, but when you dry it, the name changes to guajillo.
Oh, very tasty indeed. And very attractive looking. You're right. So how do we make this, Ryan, if we've got mugwort?
Right. So you start with a kelp broth, like so many Korean recipes. So you can take maybe like a 2 or 3 inch square of dried kelp, maybe 1.5 liters of water, some onion for sure, some garlic for sure, and some dried anchovies with the head and guts removed, and bring that up to a boil, reduce it to a low boil for at least 15-20 minutes, and you're done. It's a quick broth. Often you'll have radish in there, but you don't need the radish so much for this.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't have the kelp, you could throw in clams towards the end and get your seafood flavor from that rather than the kelp.
Yeah, and you could eat the clams, of course.
Totally.
With it,
Totally. You'll often see the clams in a ssuk-guk as well. So once you've got your broth, then you're going to take your doenjang, your fermented soybean paste, and traditionally you hold it in the broth in a sieve, and then stir with a spoon through the sieve so that you break up all the clumps.
Yeah, otherwise you can have like half beans and stuff at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Then to season it, because just the doenjang, it's going to bring the saltiness up a bit to that broth. But to season it a little bit more, usually we'll use a little fish sauce or maybe some gukkanjang, some soup soy sauce.
Yeah.
And then bring it back up to a boil. And then start adding in your suk. And all I did when you harvest these, you clip them right at the base. So you kind of go just underground with your fingertips and just clip them and then yank off the root so there's no dirt there, you know, and give them a little rinse. And then just like this, they go in.
Whole.
If you have really big ones, and you might split them in half and throw them in. And I let that boil for another minute or two, a low boil. and then turned it off, and I kept adding more, but then threw the lid on for a bit and let them kind of steep in there.
Okay.
And for this amount, I used about 2 light cups, or maybe 60 to 80 grams of fresh suk.
Yeah.
And got this flavor where we got it.
It is perfect, right? And I don't think this would be too bad if you overcooked it a bit more. Maybe the flavors would get too much, but like the consistency and texture of the suk, it's not going to like disintegrate, I assume.
Not the suk itself, but you will start to lose, I think, some of that flavor, that nice floral flavor.
If you go too far.
Yeah, this is actually, we were looking at it during the break. It's in the daisy family, which is maybe that's why it's so floral.
Yeah, when you were describing a field of flowers, I was thinking of daisies, but yeah, it is the same one. And although you said it's also available in autumn, Koreans associate it with spring more than anything, right? It's one of the first greens to appear, so if they're having it. And we did many moons ago the nengi doenjang-guk, the shepherd's purse.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know, this is up there, because when I first had that, I remember saying to you, that's amazing. That's really brought out a different side to the doenjang, the soybean paste. This, again, a completely different side.
Totally different. Yeah, the nengi's real peppery.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And this is brilliant. So give it a try if you're fed up, because Koreans will often have doenjang soup or doenjang jjigae, the more thicker version, but you can get a bit bored and fed up. Adding these when they're in season, that certainly helps, right? Spruce things up. And that's why we love doing it in Korea, right? It just gives you a different flavor.
Absolutely. And imagine again, one more time, I love this idea that these things became so popular because you just survived a tough winter. And then finally you can have something fresh on the menu again. And that would be the nengi, the shepherd's purse, the mugwort, the suk, or the dale, the little wild onions. It's your first bit of fresh sustenance after winter. All winter long you've had fermented foods and dried foods and reconstituted foods and grains and rice, but to have something back fresh on the menu is really important. To have that vitamin A, the vitamin B, the vitamin A, C, dietary fiber, calcium, iron, all in mugwort. Right?
Yeah, and these things are kind of overlooked, right, in many other countries. Like you said, mugwort is everywhere, it seems, in the Northern Hemisphere, but we're not eating it. But Korea was so good at that, like getting every last ounce from the land, because it's kind of barren with the really cold winters, the mountainous terrain.
Yeah, you don't need vitamin supplements if you eat healthy.
There you go. Yeah. And so this is just a quick photo as we're finishing off. I thought it was an avocado for a second.
A little bit.
But this is the ssuk-guk, a bit brighter green.
Looks like a chestnut filling on that one.
Oh, that looks good, doesn't it?
Or it could be pine nut.
Yeah, but you get often the deep green, and sometimes it is like punctuated with little spots of suk that you can actually see, right? How it's been finely chopped or something.
And these are made from dried powders often, so they're made year round. Yeah. Whereas dishes like this are really, really seasonal.
Yeah, and there was one other photo, I think, before this, which was the pomori.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay, so we talk about rice cake a lot, and that uses glutinous rice powder or flour. This actually uses just regular Korean rice that's coarsely ground.
Oh.
And then you take the suk and you put it in a cheesecloth or a steamer, and a little bit of sugar mixed in that rice, that ground up rice. And then you can throw in other things like seeds and nuts and raisins, and you steam it a bit.
Oh.
And it's not super chewy like rice cake.
Okay.
But it does have, of course, a bit of chewiness like rice, right?
Because of the rice powder.
We made this. I'm gonna spill some beans here, but we made this for the TV show last year with ARIRANG, and I had never made it before. Until we did it for the camera.
Yeah.
And so when I was going to taste it, if you go back and watch that episode, that's a legit reaction. I was so pleasantly surprised by this.
Wow.
I was expecting it to be like tteok, you know, but it's totally different, and it was so lovely. I think, again, the time and temperature when steaming it and then imparting those flavors into that rice flour.
Yeah.
Then the raisins and seeds also made it nice. I had pumpkin seeds, I think, in there.
So you might find that as a side dish somewhere if you're out and about, or is it more like a dog snack kind of thing?
Oh, this would be in one of the dok stores where you go buy rice cake. This time of year, they might have a sukbomori. It's not very common anymore, but I got to say, out of a lot of those things that look interesting and then I go taste it, I'm like, yeah, this one is worth a try.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, a great place to leave it this week, Ryan. We're going to see you again next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. I'll be
Thank you
here.
for that.